I'm your kid, and we have to discuss a huge nuclear bomb dropped right in the middle of the basketball cosmos today. Colin Cowherd just shouted something out on national television. Have you heard it? The universe of media is whirling out of control since the major players are at last understanding what we have been advocating on this channel for many years. Cowherd just entered the studio, looked directly into the camera, and placed the head coach of the Indiana Fever. Stephanie White is under fire for overseeing the largest box office draw in women's sports history. As you can see, Cowherd wasn't the only one to enter this crucial heavyweight boxing battle. Additionally, we observed NBC reporter Kate. Scott totally destroys the poisonous story about Caitlin Clark's mistakes during the broadcast live on Sunday evening. Corporate haters, the mainstream media, and traditional coaches like Cheryl. Reeve has been closely examining every breath this young talent takes on the court for the past 3 seasons. However, the figures are accurate. The league is led by Caitlin Clark. She is heading in the direction of a historic event while entirely on fire. MVP award for regular season. Because no one can put this, sportsbooks are attempting to change their entire odds board. Put out the fire to, I'll reword that I believe that there's only one individual who could unintentionally start this fire. Out, and Stephanie White is her name. We will examine the reasons behind Stephanie White's treatment of a generational Ferrari as a typical used sedan. However, we must first examine the utter genius of what Colin Cowherd recently recorded. Cowherd gave up a historical blueprint that alters our perspective of this entire situation. So let's examine the precise words he used. Cowherd said that Caitlin Clark, who has now enjoyed her 3rd outstanding WNBA season in 2026, has already entirely destroyed the records. She recently finished another historic masterclass, dropping more than 20 points and 10 assists, totally controlling the game's tempo on the court. Cowherd acknowledged that when Steph Curry was a lazy media comparison when he first joined the league. Indeed, based on her fashion sense, the infinite range, the smooth ball handling, the way she launches the basketball from the actual logo, unquestionably, her DNA contains variations of number 30. However, Cowherd revealed the final truth, stating that as a culture shifting, she is not Steph Curry, the megastar who is transforming the world. Michael Jeffrey Jordan is her name. Give that some thought. Familyed on national television, Cowherd declared, "Forget the Curry talk because she is Michael Jordan." I've been screaming through this screen for the past 3 years, so you know how your buddy Dre feels about that. On a basketball court, she is the female embodiment of his airness. Did we not simply observe her gait? Staring down an entire defense in the 4th quarter of a game against the Seattle Storm. And, with the game on the line, drain a cold-blooded deep 3-pointer in thick traffic? That's just Jordan being himself. To illustrate his point, Cowherd took us through the historical chronology. Michael Jordan was an immediate rookie phenomenon when he joined the NBA, capturing the attention of people all around the world. Disaster struck in year 2 when he suffered a serious injury that ended his season and reduced his capacity to be dominant. The postseason. However, by the 3rd year, Jordan had returned with a huge vengeance, posting numbers that were in the stratosphere, making everyone acknowledge that he was possibly the world's best basketball player. However, despite his exceptional brilliance, Jordan was unable to ascend the mountain on his own. He was in dire need of his Scottie Pippen, a top-tier running partner who came to support a championship team. Now take a peek at Caitlin Clark's parallel universe in 2026. She started working as a professional, as a complete rookie box office phenomenon. She faced physical hardship in her 2nd year, overcoming injuries that disturbed the Indiana organization's rhythm as she enters her 3rd year. Her statistical profile is exceptional once more, but the detractors continue to change the goalposts. The corporate media consistently poses the same sarcastic query. When will she begin to achieve the greatest amount of success? Why hasn't she won a decisive playoff series yet? Cowherd's viewpoint is quite perceptive and highlights the serious weakness in their case. He notes that Caitlin is already features Scottie Pippen on the roster. Kelsey Mitchell is a top-tier professional scorer and a pure bucket. He deserves to be considered for MVP. This is not an attempt to disparage her teammates. It's about realizing that officially, the first phase of professional uniqueness is over. Cowherd employed a well-known pop culture analogy, contrasting Taylor Swift's self-titled debut album with Caitlyn's rookie campaign. It was an amazing debut that had. The world is wondering, oh my God, who is this amazing new talent? However, Taylor Swift released her album immediately following that. Fearless.to ensure you never miss our daily sports breakdowns. Click the subscribe button now before we get started. In order to provide you with this enormous basketball analysis, we have been studying Colin Cowherd's opinions for several months. Deep dive. Therefore, it would be greatly appreciated if you could take a moment to subscribe. Returning to Swift, a true gem that utterly destroyed her first album and catapulted her into a whole new worldwide arena, stardom. At this moment, Caitlin Clark is just what the Hoops cosmos desires. A totally brave period on an entirely new level. Each of us has examined her shot maps and seen the charts. She takes long-range shots that contradict the laws of physics. That IT is amazing to behold. But there are certain steps that must be taken in order to become legendary. Status. Her ultimate ceiling is entirely Jordanian, even though her baseline style is similar to Steph Curry's, signifying several rings, ancient dynasties, and worldwide dominance. However, Colin Cowherd hurled a huge wrench in two things, pointing out that she needs a correct running companion in order to unlock that status, and most crucially, the ideal head coach. And that was a precise, well-thought-out tactical sniper shot directed directly at the Indiana coach, Stephanie White. Cowherd made it quite evident. Caitlin is a superb backcourt partner and possesses exceptional talent. However, she lacks the strategic acumen needed for a championship run on the sidelines. In my unadulterated view, Caitlin Clark is presently ensnared in a system that deliberately prevents her from realizing her full potential. Destiny. She is in dire need of her own Phil Jackson. That is the puzzle's missing piece. Examine the harsh reality of what went down during the game against Seattle on Sunday, because her body language conveyed a bizarre message. According to several independent, things reached a breaking point in the first quarter with 32 seconds for both creators and courtside reporters. Remaining on the clock, with a commanding lead of 32-17, Indiana's offense was suddenly clicking. Stephanie White created an odd. Caitlin Clark was actively attempting to convey a play to her teammates on the floor when it was decided to bench her. She immediately yanked her hand away as Clark approached the bench, clearly enraged by White's micromanagement. As the head coach yelled commands at her ear, one well-known author analyzed the conversation frame by frame, revealing a methodical pattern that is driving supporters crazy. Stephanie White insists on option B each time Caitlin requests option A. We are discussing a coach who refuses to give up the keys. When Caitlin makes an incredible three-pointer that changes the course of the game, White simply crosses her arms and stands on the sidelines, providing no encouragement or compliments, with an expression as frigid as stone. However, White begins to applaud wildly as soon as Caitlin enters the room for a standard layup. Her behavior says a lot. It is almost hard for anyone to defend at this level of passive-aggressive coaching. Here, let's be completely honest about the similarity. Stephanie White is not Phil Jackson. She is currently Doc Rivers. She switches teams, taking over well-known rosters and applying a strict, traditional defensive mentality, but utterly failing to operate a cutting-edge, high-octane system that lets a generational talent breathe and set the conditions of the interaction. Take a look at what Lisa Blutter accomplished during those illustrious times at Iowa. Blutter understood the inner workings of Caitlin's great basketball mind and was her own Phil Jackson. She never attempted to put her in a box in order to unlock an attacking speed. She created a strategy that was specific to her strengths and vision that was unprecedented in the game. The front office of the Indiana Fever must cease acting in a corporate manner. They do everything to get Lisa Blutter to come out of retirement, including playing games and opening the checkbook. She is skilled at bringing out the best in Caitlin and taking this franchise to new heights that would render opponents defenseless. Bringing a legend like Cheryl Miller, who commands absolute respect, if they can't get any blooder, reverence. But at the moment, Stephanie White's persistent micromanagement and tactical restrictions on the court are making the Fever into an annoying circus. However, what makes basketball so lovely is that the court never, falsehoods and poetic justice is served by the universe. After the game concluded, the final box score entirely revealed the ridiculousness of the media narratives and the coaching. Official reports state that the Indiana Fever defeated Seattle 89-78 on May 17, 2026.